Why are we sending all this money to wealthy countries when people are struggling back in Britain? That is the question. And let's ask for an answer the policy analyst at the Taxpayers Alliance, Tom Ryan. Hello, Tom. Do you have an answer for that?
I'm afraid I don't. I mean, you mentioned earlier 33 million sent to India, but I think we've seen that will be rising by around 70% next year. So it's set to be even more. You mentioned the amount we spend on aid overall, and sometimes that's reaching as much as 15 billion a year. The government's reduced the amount in the wake of COVID, but they're looking to put it back up in the future. So it's a really good question. I mean, we live in a very different world now to the world we lived in when the concept of aid first began. And like you said, India, they're hoping to put a man on the moon. They'd be the fourth nation ever to do that. So you've got to wonder how much of that money is really going where aid money is supposed to go.
Exactly right. And whenever there are debates on the foreign aid budget, I believe that we have a kind of legal requirement to spend a certain amount, a certain percentage of our GDP on foreign aid. But every time they have a debate, you get all these wealthy MPs, you know, with £2 million houses, one in London, one somewhere in the country, standing up and saying, this is all about Britain's image abroad, that we are a generous nation, we help developing countries. Yeah, great. Well, we, the people, can't really afford your political virtue signalling right now. Would that be a fair response to these bleeding heart MPs? I'm talking about Andrew Mitchell, I'm talking about Theresa May. They're usually Tories, funnily enough.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely think that's right. Some projections are saying that in the next 12 years, Poland will overtake the UK in terms of wealth. So I completely agree. We've got to think about, you know, how much money we really have to go around. I sort of alluded earlier to when the concept of aid first emerged, we were living in a very different world. And there was a lot more poverty. There were far more people starving. Fortunately, aid has played a role in stopping that. But now we've also got to think about our wealth. The total amount we've spent on aid since 2009 is around half of double the amount we spent on the energy price guarantee.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yes.
What does the total amount come to? I mean, we were sending...
It's about 165 billion, whereas...
Since when? Since when is that?
Since 2009.
100 and how many billion?
65 billion.
165 billion. That's what we've sent abroad. I mean, look around this nation. Look around every city centre. Look around some of the sinker states. 165 billion would have gone a long way to helping to solve some of our social problems, would it not?
No, precisely. And I think you've really got to wonder about what that money is going to. The Taxpayers Alliance last year, we found that 12 billion had been sent to Pakistan to pay for condoms. I'm sure you heard
Sorry, rewind. Say that again.
We spent 12 million to Pakistan to pay for condoms. In the past, we funded the Ethiopian Spice Girls.
Oh, I remember that one, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I think it's fair to say that a lot of that money is not going where people would expect.
Yeah, if you want to have our money, form a girl group in Ethiopia. Oh dear, that's ridiculous. So what is that, the percentage that we're supposed to hand over to foreign countries, and why do we impose this restriction on us? Why do we impose upon ourselves the legal requirement to chuck our money abroad? Why do we do that? What is the percentage first, Tom?
Well, we agree to spend 0.7% of gross national income on aid every year. However, that has temporarily been reduced following COVID to 0.5%. But the government is saying from around 2028, they'll be hoping to put that back up again.
Why? Why do we impose this on ourselves, do you think?
It's a UN target, and it's, as you mentioned, it's been in law since 2015. But I think you're right to question it. I mean, like I said, we live in a world that's very different now to how it was even 10 years ago, let alone 50. And so we've got to think about whether the UK is the kind of wealthy nation that can afford this stuff, or whether we should be looking after ourselves and thinking about, you know, the poor people over here.
Well, I'm just going to, before we part company, Tom, great to talk to you. Thank you for your time.